welcome back to Smashing Nets Podcast. This is going to be our first recap for All-Stars Season 3. My name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey.
And my best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight?
And, well, a couple things to clear up right away. If you're not a patron, this is the first recording that I've done of in the wide scale of things since I got COVID on April 30th. So I still am a little congested, as you can probably hear.
Looks as good as ever, though, right?
No.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
you showed up today looking rougher than normal.
Yeah. I think I hit it right on the nose when I say I look like a meth addict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have eczema,
Mm-hmm.
and it really acts up in the summertime when it gets hot. It's like the heat.
And humid.
And humid. And so I get it like on the inside of my wrist and a little bit on the inside of my arm, like where my elbow is.
Yeah.
Nothing major.
And
But
then you had a little patch on
I got a
your
little
neck.
patch on both sides of my neck. And
I'm familiar with all those areas.
yeah, my eyes have a tendency to get dry, like my eyelids and around my eyes have a tendency to get dried out. But they have gone into overdrive over the last couple of days, and I woke up Wednesday morning, and I was like, oh my God, I look like a crackhead. And I exercised last night. I took a kickboxing class, so I got all worked up and sweaty and hot and bothered, and so my hair was all sweaty, and I really looked like I was just strung out on meth.
And you were going, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And so literally everywhere I went into, any department store, any of my friends I saw, the main thought was that I got my brains beat in, and someone just...
You look like you have not a fresh black eye, but it looks like you had a black eye from like a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like someone punched you in both eyes like a week ago, and you're getting mostly over, because it's not like a dark purple, but it's like a reddish purple.
Yeah.
Well, when I first saw you, I thought you had been crying. Like, it looks like you cried for 24 hours yesterday.
Right.
And then you told me, and then we came in here to record, and I sat here and I just giggled looking at you because I've been imagining like crazy scenarios. And I said, it looks like a week ago you got mobbed or ambushed by an Italian mob.
By the way,
for messing with
she
the...
said this exact thing off air too. I don't know why you think he's involved with the Italian mafia specifically.
No. Let me continue. Like, you hit on the boss's daughter.
Right.
You just some random guy, and then he got mad, so he sent his guys after you, and they beat you to a pulp, and you're not fully recovered yet.
Yeah.
And then I started imagining, maybe a couple weeks ago you were in the Pacific Northwest and you ran across a bear and got attacked by a bear, but you survived.
Can we put a picture up for our patrons so they know what we're talking
Yeah,
about?
I can put that up on Patreon.
Okay.
I mean, do you want me to take one right now? Or
Yeah, I have no shame here. I'm just...
You got to get the right lighting on this so you can see it.
It's hard to see in this.
Can you see it? Is it good?
No.
It's good in the kitchen, though.
Honestly, it's...
No.
I got the picture. Honestly, it looks worse in real life than it does in the picture.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't look as bad in the picture. It looks darker in real life.
It does. Yeah, it does look worse in real life.
We'll take it in the kitchen because I had the
Okay.
lights off in the kitchen
Okay.
and just the natural light from the window, and you looked awful.
By the way, if you do ever get attacked by a bear, apparently you're supposed to shove that arm down their throat because they have a bad gag reflex.
Your eczema arm.
Yeah, maybe give them throat eczema.
Yeah.
Is that it? Can you get eczema on the inside?
I hope
No,
not.
it's a skin disease.
But your skin's on the inside. Like, if you think about your body, you're basically just a tube.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
something Papa Roach said one time, having skin on the inside.
Okay. I
'Cause he cut his life into pieces.
Yeah, he did.
it was his
Speaking
his last
of Papa
resort.
Roach, I saw something that I put on my Instagram stories the other day, and it was somebody had written on the sidewalk, if the Beatles were so great, how come they were never on a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game? And I was like, that's a great point, because those soundtracks are incredible.
That Tony Hawk 2 in particular.
Yep.
And then Madden 2003 was really good.
I didn't have that one.
That's coming up on 20 years.
Was that the one?
wild. And Marshall Falk on the cover.
I'm thinking of 2006.
You know the cover of Madden 2006?
Who was on the cover of 06?
I don't know, but my dad had that game, and I played it like my life depended on it for years.
Good.
That may be-
I've never heard this in my life. You've ever talked about this?
I loved the soundtrack on that game.
All right, well, let's look up who was on the soundtrack of Madden 2006, because this is a good segue, because a lot of our patrons have been asking for.
I thought it was Donovan McNabb. I thought that was the cover.
Have been asking for recommendations again because we didn't do them during the Gauntlet 2, and so we are going to do recommendations during this All-Star season, which we're going to do video games that we recommend for whatever reason, and not necessarily current ones.
This just hit me. Do we want to stretch it out to like board games too, and include just games as a whole?
I think we because the All-Star seasons are usually between like 8 to 10 episodes. I think we can each come up with 8 to 10 video games.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do board games for the next one.
Yeah, we can do board games for. But
I love board games.
I mean, what a weird soundtrack so far. The All-American Rejects, Night Drive, Avenged Sevenfold, Bat Country, Bullet for My Valentine, 4 words, Bump J, I don't know who that is.
Chameleonaire's on there.
Chameleonaire, not Riding Dirty.
Hating Ya Eyes.
I don't know, Hating Ya Eyes.
Well, for some reason I do.
Disturbed,
For this reason.
10,000 Fists, Fallout Boy, Dance Dance, Finch.
Oh,
Inc.
Finch.
That's a
Yeah, I
strange
know.
one. That's a strange one. Foo Fighters, No Way Back, Funeral for a Friend, Streetcar, which I don't know that song. Godsmack, Bring It On. Hot Hot Heat is a very weird one to have in the midst of all these bands.
I was picking it up.
Yeah, Memphis Bleak, Like That, Nine Black Alps, Cosmopolitan, Papoose, Born to Win, Rev Run, Mind on the Road, Sam Scoffo, Tear 'Em Up, Slim Thug, Get It Started, Spider Lock, I don't know. When I Get Angry, Stat Quo, Rock the Party, and then Tech 9 to close it up.
With the Beast.
Oh, there's a different what?
Wait, was that? Hold on.
Xbox 360 had its own thing with Cody and Cambria on it.
And 30 Seconds to Mars?
Yeah, and the Arctic Monkeys.
I didn't have an Xbox growing up. My dad had a PlayStation, so
Okay,
we always
they
had
have
the PlayStation. But the soundtrack you just called off, I know all of those songs because of that game.
Well, yeah, the Xbox 360 had 30 Seconds to Mars, Afu Ra, Arctic Monkeys, Cody and Cambria, Dirty, Green Day, LTDA, Mastodon, Paul Wall featuring Mike Jones, Shinedown, and Trapped. I gotta say, I don't feel like this is a good soundtrack. The main one.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
I take Madden 03. 03
That's the
soundtrack.
one that's got Nas in it. Hate Me Now, right? Well,
Yeah. Pull up Madden 03
okay.
since we're doing this.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
That's what this podcast is. We're not even going to talk about All Stars.
All right, here we go. I still rock with it.
Head P. That's the first result.
Suck It Up. That song hit. Andrew WK.
Oh yeah, Andrew WK Party Hard. That is a good one. Audio Vent the Energy. That actually was on my Spotify Discover Weekly this last
That's
week.
a sick song.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize Party Hard was that old.
Yeah. But Audio Vent. That's the lead singer of Audio Vent is the little brother of the lead singer of Incubus.
Oh.
That's cool.
Dry Cell, Bodies Crumble, Epidemic, Walk Away, Good Charlotte, the anthem. Head P, Suck It Up, Bon Jovi, Every Day, Nappy Roots, Aw Nah.
That's a POD remix
Featuring
too.
Marcos Cruel from POD. Okay, Go, Get Over It, Cryarshi. Oh, that's strange. That's like a rap rock group that was I didn't know they were Icelandic, but they're big in that new metal thing. And then Seether. So this isn't the one with Hate Me Now. I thought that's what it was. Maybe that was a later one.
I can't
You
remember.
Can Hate Me Now, but I Won't Stop Now. It's Nas and I don't know. I guess he was Puff Daddy back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one that goes, "It's almost over now. It's almost over now"?
No.
Because that was NFL Fever.
No. You would know Hate Me Now. It's a pretty popular song.
Are we going to get in trouble for listening to it?
No, because it's fair use because we're giving commentary on it. This is an old song. I mean, this is 1999.
Diddy's on this.
Were you listening to anything I just talked about? I said his name, and I was like, I guess he's Puff Daddy at the time.
Oh, this was like Madden 10 or Madden
Yeah.
11. I think it was the one with Larry Fitzgerald and Troy Polamalu on the cover.
Dual covers.
Yeah, I think that's the one it was.
Madden Curse.
I think so.
That's a good song though.
Yeah.
It's a great song. Nas the best rapper of all time. He just doesn't get his due because he didn't get killed when Biggie and Tupac did. He's been around just as long as all them.
It's a shame. Too bad.
No, I'm glad he's not dead. Even though Hannah wants him to be dead.
I don't want him to be dead.
So, just clarity's sake, on the top of this episode, we didn't know All Stars was going to be a 2-episode premiere right off the bat. So this podcast is only going to be for episode 1, and then we're going to do episode 2 in a couple of days. So then that way we're caught up when episode 3 drops. I don't think that's the plan going forward to do 2 episodes. I think it's just because they're excited to do premieres or whatever, but maybe they know something that we don't as far as scheduling. Here's the thing. They may not want to overlap with the Challenge CBS and then the Challenge Argentina, and because that stuff's supposed to come out this summer.
Everybody is really worried about that.
They're worried about it?
They're being overlapping because then there's like, well, how do we watch all of it?
Yeah, I mean, that's still up in the air on us on how that's going to go. If there's not a main show currently happening, we'll probably recap, I would assume, the main CBS Challenge. But as far as the outline shows, I don't know yet. It's going to depend on how they drop. Like, I don't know if we're going to do the Challenge Argentina or the Challenge UK or anything. I can't commit to that yet. Because if they all drop at the same time, there's no way.
It's a lot of content to cover.
Yeah. Now we could watch them all, and then just do like one big recap for like the 3 outline shows. You know what I'm saying? And just do like a one-off podcast for that. I'm not going to commit one way or the other until we know more about the details. I do know that at least is either on Instagram or Twitter, the Challenge has dropped MTV out of their app thing.
It's a little weird.
I heard about that.
It just is the Challenge, or well, I mean it
because they're on CBS 2 now.
Well, they're not yet, and also I don't know if it's going to be on I don't know if it's airing on CBS or if it's airing on just Paramount Plus, the new, and it's just CBS people because Paramount owns all those. So I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much. I do know that there are casts, calls, and confirmed people for the next season happening right now, but it has not started filming or anything. So I mean, we're still probably at minimum 3 months out from a new. Because I can't remember exactly how long the turnaround time is, but I want to say like it's pretty quick, like from the time that they get everybody out there and they start filming to when the new one drops.
You think we might get a new season in like September?
That could very possibly.
And then it wrap up right before Christmas?
Which is, if that's the case, that's exactly when Spies Lies. Isn't that right? Didn't it end in like December?
It was like the week after Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a week or 2 after Christmas.
I mean, that's almost a full year between endings, which is crazy for the Challenge. But I mean, they're also doing a million other things right now.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're semi spoilers, not spoilers, but I think we all think All Stars 3 is going to be really good, just based on the first episode.
I mean, we knew it would be good. I think we think it might be better than the others.
I feel confident in saying that. But I don't know. Every this season feels different.
It's shot different.
Like the production seems very, very high end.
They shot it in a different frame rate.
Yeah.
And it looks almost like a Siesta Key or like the Hills type show, because they shot it in the more like lower frame rate, which looks more cinematic. And then also, I don't know if it was the app. Other people can weigh in on this. We were watching Paramount Plus on my Xbox. This episode was the frame rate was so jumpy, but it was like the playback. It wasn't like the way they filmed it. It was like the playback issue. It wasn't enough to like try to watch it somewhere else, but it didn't play back smooth. But we've talked multiple times. The Paramount Plus app is kind of a dumpster. I know your brother has been trying to watch the seasons that he's missed, and he said every time he turns his PlayStation off, it logs him out.
Yeah, it does.
He has to log back in.
If
It
I'm,
doesn't
like,
do that on our Xbox.
If I'm still at work or something, like he'll text me and he'll send me like the code to type in on the website so he can watch it. Yeah,
I am watching Survivor Season 3 currently on there because it's in Kenya. And it's not considered one of the best seasons or anything, but I was like, I've been to Kenya a bunch. I want to see what they do.
We turned him into a Survivor man.
Well, no, I was Survivor Man way back in the day. I'd probably watched the Kenya season when it aired, but I had not been to Kenya yet. Because I watched at least like the first 4 or 5 seasons of Survivor, and then I just got out of it. Yeah, this new season, we already, if you're not a patron, we did the fantasy draft for Patreon. It dropped a couple days ago, and we'll get to the who's got who at the end of this. But TJ did start this episode off basically clarifying something that we had a discussion about at the cast breakdown. It's not people who have been to a final. He said very clearly people who have qualified for final, which makes the Naya thing fit.
Yeah,
because she did qualify for one. And then she got kicked off, and then they had another little mini elimination. So you guys can feel free to jump in with it. They just had like random people coming in like in groups that kind of made sense. Like Tina and Veronica came in together because they're kind of like old school friends. Tina got her heel stuck in the deck of the pool.
It's like they gave them lines too. Does not seem like rehearsed lines.
I didn't get that, but I felt like they were like, oh, we have to like hit like interesting points because we're the only 2 people here. Like we've got to go out of our way to be talkative.
Well, they were going to be the only ones in the house until whoever was next showed up.
Yeah.
And they've got to give the camera something to record.
And by the way, I told Hannah, I was like, I think Tina looks great. I think she looks better now than she did back in the day.
I told him, I said, she's married and she's very, as we heard in the beginning of last season, her introduction, she said she's very happy with her life. She's got a pool at home and no kids.
She said she got at one point a pool and no kids and new boobs, and she's living the dream.
No. And when you are really happy in life, you glow and you look better. Maybe it's her
What does
glow.
that say about me, Han?
You look like a meth.
Yeah. You look like you had your eyes up against a dog's butthole.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like you've been stranded on an island for 3 months.
A survivor.
Yeah. Right. Survivor, man.
Except you didn't have people with you. You were alone.
Shout out to anyone who might be from Survivor listening. I don't think you are, but Ryan Haley, who is from a YouTube channel called Funhouse, who's also from Memphis, and he does all these like Memphis-based videos. He just applied to be on Survivor again. So he would be incredible on that show.
Would be a maniac.
He's the one who did the Bass Pro Shop video and all that.
Okay.
And said they were going to do...
No, I'm talking about just the party anthem one.
Oh, well, he also did another video a couple weeks ago where it was like a commercial advertisement where they said the Bass Pro Pyramid, they were putting in a water slide at the top, and everybody in West Tennessee shared it, and they're like, I can't believe they're doing this. And it's so funny that people believed it. And we're like, we know who this is, and it's not true.
Yeah. One time on Fear Factor back in the day, they did have people slide down a big pyramid in Vegas, and like Dennis Rodman was one of them.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Dennis gets wild.
He does. He's a wild boy.
Yeah, he's still with Carmen Electra.
No, they divorced a long time ago.
They that was a celebrity crush for me back in the day. Dennis Rodman.
I think she was. Oh yeah.
No, Carmen Electra for sure.
Yeah.
So Mark comes in by himself, wearing all black, forgets to take the tags off of his shoes when he lays down, and they kind of make fun of him for it.
He's trying to be the Godfather.
Yeah.
So he dressed the part, and then the stickers on the shoes just destroyed that.
Jake, you might know something about this, because I've been trying to stay off of Twitter and stuff since, especially challenge-related Twitter, since the season was about to drop. I did see that Mark Long has some like alliance with NXT now.
Yeah, he's got.
I know he did stuff with the Miz.
Yeah,
but Miz isn't part of NXT.
No.
So how? So is he just getting into wrestling now at 50?
Yeah, I don't know. He's doing in-ring stuff.
Okay.
But he's like, he's a good talker.
Yeah.
Right. So I think he's kind of. I haven't watched it at all, but that's the vibe. I haven't watched wrestling in 3 years.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
However long it's been for you, it's been at least that long for
Though
me.
if I was gonna watch wrestling now, I'd probably switch over to AEW. If I'm being totally honest.
But didn't the main guy that started AEW
He's back
left
in
to go to
WWE.
WWE?
Well, he was in
I
WWE,
know, but
and then he left.
He started
and,
as a rival, and then
yeah.
they're like, "Hey, we'll offer you big money," and he's like, "All right."
Yeah. Hey, do whatever you can to make a dime.
Okay.
So
I just want to say how incredible this house is.
This is a sick.
I
house.
honestly was really distracted by the house.
much better than the last house.
that I did not really see a lot of the people that came in. The first person that I really noticed coming in was Darrell, because he was like in an all 70s outfit.
Yeah, I didn't have a note about Darrell because again, I just had everyone's just kind of coming in groups, and I just wrote random little things as they came.
Everybody was really dressed up.
Yeah, they were like they're like clearly someone in production was like, make this like a classy, like, hey, this is a big showing, like you guys are the best of the best, whatever. And they also definitely told them at one point, hey, there's going to be a jungle themed costume party. We'll get to that in a little bit. Very old school. I mean, that's something that used to happen a lot. But I did not realize that. Is it Roni or Ronnie?
Roni.
I thought it was Roni. Yeah. She's undefeated. Won both seasons she was on, but she's never been into an elimination. So I don't think that bodes well for her, based on some of these other girls that have been in multiple eliminations, because they kind of know what to expect. Kayla comes in with Sylvia, and Kayla starts to walk out to the area and then ends up walking directly into the pool and didn't realize it. Which
Until
I'm not
she
sure
got
how
wet.
you do. But yeah, your number one pick in the draft.
I'm happy with it to this point.
Well, to be fair, you give out the points, so there could be some collusion here.
Well, your number one pick in the draft, my number one pick in my heart, Tyler, is back.
Came in, well, not for long.
I know, but he came in, and you could tell he came in like he wasn't planning on coming back, because he came.
We talked about it.
He literally just came to have fun.
We talked about it on the draft. He was a replacement for Johnny Bananas. Bananas was supposed to be on this cast, and then they brought Tyler in. Tyler came in with Kendall and Kellyanne, which I didn't realize he didn't know Kellyanne. They didn't overlap at all.
That was the first time meeting.
Yeah. But Tyler said last season, we knew he got beat up pretty bad by Latarian, and he was in a wrist thing. But he fractured 3 ribs, fractured his wrist, and then he said he moved his diaphragm by a few centimeters, which I don't even know what that does internally.
But he was messed up.
Yes. I will say, after what we've seen with Tyler in this episode, I don't think he'll be back.
I can't imagine.
For getting so bad physically hurt in the first one and then going home day one in this one, it would be hard to...
I think if he had gone home from his injuries last season and taken the time to fully recover and get back in shape, kind of like what Cyrus did.
Cyrus is in best shape.
Cyrus is in
Cyrus looks
incredible
great. Yeah.
shape. But the thing was, Cyrus came into this a little out of shape because they're all older. They haven't been doing
Cyrus
this
has
in a long
always kind of
time.
been a round shape.
But he's realizing, hey, I might have a shot. I'm going to put in the work ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish Tyler would have had that opportunity, because I wanted him to come back from that injury fully healed, fully recovered, in better shape, more old school Tyler-esque, because he was a real threat.
Well, he
back
was
in
a
the day.
very avid swimmer when he was at his peak. I don't know if he's in North Dakota. I don't know how much you swim when you're up there. But that's we all love Tyler, I think, as just a person, and he was a great competitor back in the day. But when we saw this list, we're like, he's definitely the weakest link as far as the guy contestants here. Just because he's not in shape as much as what the rest of these guys are.
Well, we nailed that one.
Yeah. And I mean he was my last pick in the draft. And because I was choosing between him and Jimmy.
Yeah.
And
well, you guys gave me crap for not picking him, and this was why. I looked at the
we
other
didn't
guys.
give you crap for not picking him. We said last time
We couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe you didn't pick him.
Yeah, it was
Believe me, I wanted to, but I knew I couldn't.
Yeah,
I knew
think
I couldn't.
You got to play with your head and not your heart.
Hand me one of them Chico candies.
I know. I've been staring at him since we came in.
The
Pull me one out too.
I know this is poor etiquette.
it is very poor because especially in an audio only thing where you're just going to be chewing while we're recording.
No, I suck. I don't chew.
Okay,
Huh, that's what
true.
she said.
You do suck. So the only other thing I had as far as people walking in was Wes said this for Wes's first All-Star season. He's like, hey, I'm here to ruin All-Stars. It's been a happy-go-lucky, everyone's having fun and whatever. Arguably, you could say that Ayanna was here to ruin All-Stars last time.
Right.
Yeah.
Just from being a psychopath. But, Wes brings a different vibe to the game.
I have a question.
Okay.
Are Jordyn and Nia
I don't know.
together or best friends? I really can't tell.
I can't tell.
Well, it's weird to put them in the same confessional, right?
Well, so I don't think it's weird in the case of their history because they were very temperamental in the Portland real world. Got into it a lot. Obviously, when they were on the show together, they had big flare-ups on the challenge, and she got sent home because she sexually assaulted him on TV.
The whole reason she's a finalist qualifier and not an actual finalist is because of her issues with Jordyn.
I'm pretty sure she touched his genitals.
She did.
And said, "There's nothing here," or something like that.
Yeah.
Jordyn also seems to be in the best shape of his life,
Which is crazy. He's always been in incredible
but
shape.
he's never been chiseled.
Yeah,
He's chiseled.
he's definitely cut.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
He's been training differently. He was doing some marathons last year, I think.
Yeah,
Or
he's
year
he's
before
got that
last.
mullet.
He's got that mullet.
And he's been
And
in
cowboy
the
hats.
He's been in the Ukraine doing some stuff
But
too.
that was after
Yeah.
All-Stars.
But the thing is, the last time Jordyn and Nia were on the challenge was when she was sent home for sexually assaulting him. The last time Jordyn was on the challenge, he was engaged to Tori.
And almost got into a fight with Turbo. Was that the same season? That was the last time Jordyn was on.
Was that the last time he was on?
No.
He was
That
on
was the time before. He and
Was
Tori
engaged
came
the
on.
season after.
They were
Okay.
engaged, and then they came back as an engaged couple.
Right.
And one of them went home.
That's right. They got that's right. Hands right.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember what season. So he was War of the Worlds 2 was the one with Turbo, and then he came back for Total Madness.
Right.
And that was when he proposed to Tori on the show because Polly and Cara were on that season, and Cara was the only person in the house that didn't come congratulate them
Yeah.
when they got engaged.
Yeah.
And then Jordyn and Tori came back together as an engaged couple
Yeah.
because they were obviously aligned and everybody was talking about it, whatever. So that was the last time that we saw Jordyn. He was engaged to be married to Tori.
By the way, Jordyn's only 31.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I know, he's really young. So
That's wild.
so he comes into All
We're older
Stars.
than him.
I'm not.
No, you're not.
He and Nia come into this house together, and then obviously they're pretty good friends now. They're really close, and then they show a what do you call it?
A wave is what you're doing.
No, a slideshow
A montage.
of pictures of them on a boat or on a beach.
Yeah, they
together.
were hanging out on, and that was the thing on social media. They were hanging out post the Tory situation.
And kissing each other on the cheek. But if you're best friends with somebody, you can do that.
I don't know if
Is that
they're
right?
best friends, or I mean, it's possible they could be it could be, hey, we just years in 2013 got off on the wrong foot, and then now we realize we're a lot closer than what.
Well, me and Zach been missing out then.
Yeah, we don't kiss each other on the cheek
I don't know why not.
because he's got worms on his head.
That's right.
Yeah. Wes
Looks like a robot machine.
Okay.
They showed like a cinematic shot of him on the treadmill the next morning.
Yeah.
He doesn't look human.
Wes has also cut just got more like chiseled too. I think he knew he was coming into All Stars, obviously, and he wanted to really ramp that up.
Yeah.
And
he does not look human.
yeah, it's. I mean, he's a wild card on this season for sure, because there's not been a lot of big like political moves on All Stars so far. It has been mostly just people hanging out and like, oh, if you're not good, you're gonna go into elimination, whatever.
Kind of like how they did back in the day, like early days. It was whoever
some of these
was
people
worse.
are from Roni, right? Was it Cynthia? One of them was on the first season ever.
Cynthia.
Roni met Kobe.
Yeah, that one weird season. They had a challenge with like NBA players. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. I'm so honored. My birthday is 8/24.
Oh, okay.
Kobe, right?
Yeah.
8/24.
Yeah.
He
Kobe
did that
Day.
for you.
My birthday.
I've never
will
thought about that,
forever
for
be
being honest.
Kobe Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm honored.
So we get to the daily. We find out for the first time that it is an individual game. One male winner, one female winner. So no teams.
$500,000.
No thing like happened in season 1 where it's just whoever finishes first overall. It's one male, one female. And this game is called Tunnel Vision for the daily. And it's going to be done in 2 rounds, guys and girls. And basically there's just a board with at least like 16 pieces. It's either 16 or 25. Because it's either 5x5 or 4x4.
I think it was 16.
Yeah, and then they're color coded, and some are oriented up like upside down, whatever. And there's multiple animals that kind of are similar.
And they're all like similar colors. It's like a sienna orange and maroon and berry.
You chose 3 words to describe those colors that I wouldn't have come near if you gave me 100 tries. I would have said orange, red, yellow.
There was a lemon yellow.
Lemon.
So
there's different shades of yellow.
So basically, you have these like peepholes in a wall, and then on the other
Glory
side,
hole, if you will.
There's a peephole.
It's a pretty freaking big glory hole.
Tina said when all the guys were huddled around trying to look through, she said it looked like they were looking through a peephole at strippers. And I looked at Zach and I said, well, if they're strippers, you don't have to look through a peephole, right?
I was like,
You look through the glory hole.
I was like, what Tina should have. That's more of like those like 80s movies things where it's like, oh, there's a hole in the bathroom wall and we can see into like the girls' locker room, and
Right.
like that type of thing was just a big thing, I guess, back in the 80s. And yeah, it's I guess strip clubs don't usually have like retaining walls you got to look through. I mean, as far as I don't have a lot of experience there, so
I've never been to one, so
Yeah.
I couldn't say one way or another.
I couldn't say one way or another in person. I played Grand Theft Auto, and there were no walls in there.
And it's as close as you'll ever get.
Unless I own one day, Lord willing.
Okay.
Yeah. So
There's one in Memphis right next to a Wendy's.
That's the Purple Diamond!
That's the Purple Diamond. Yeah. So Wes calls a check like immediately on this thing, but he's wrong.
But the fact that he called for a check scared all the other guys.
Well, it basically just set off a chain reaction where then everyone was calling for checks, and then we get to no, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, and then Tyler's like, I guess just check mine, and then TJ, I don't remember what he said.
He
but
said,
he's
you're
like,
way wrong.
Yeah, he's like, that's not even close, and he's like, well, okay, that's fine. And so Wes does end up winning. Yes came in second, and then it went MJ, Darrell, Nehemiah, Jordyn, Derek, Latarian, Brad, Mark, and then it came down to Tyler and Cyrus for the last spot, and then Tyler ended up winning out, and then Cyrus was last, so he is automatically going into elimination.
2 things. One, when Tyler and Cyrus were tied for last place, Nehemiah said, it's the two people who sweat the most
Yeah.
that are last. And when Yes got second place, he had a little confessional where he said, first place comes with too much responsibility, so my favorite place to be is second place.
Well,
Do you think he meant that, or do you think he was just saying that?
Yes doesn't strike me as a guy who's gonna like make up stuff. I do think he probably thought if you're in first, then you probably have to pick like whatever. Because at this point, you didn't know the top three were gonna make.
So he was going to have the responsibility anyway. He just wouldn't get the benefit of first place.
Yeah, which we find out does have some sort of benefits going forward. So in the girls round, I don't have any like particular notes because again, they were more polite. Like they were just like letting each other look through the holes.
Well, I think it's Jordyn or Wes. One of the guys said that Sylvia took first place in half the amount of time that the guys took, and she got it on her first check.
Yeah, she got it first check.
Could Sylvia have a comeback that's John A-esque?
I mean,
I guess it depends.
I guess you have to say it's always possible because John A blew us out of the water.
Sylvia's not had a very memorable challenge career, if I'm being honest. Sorry if your mom is still listening to the show like she was back in the day.
Right.
During Final Reckoning. Again, her biggest moments were in that Final Reckoning with Joss, and then when she headbutted Marie, which you two completely forgot about. But I was right about it. People,
Well, I think that speaks to how...
Yeah.
Didn't she also get into an elimination with Melissa, the DJ from UK,
Yes.
and like it got real scrappy in the mud or something?
It wasn't mud, but it was like one of those like... I don't remember what they called it.
Clay.
No, I mean like the game. I think it was like a pit with like oil in it almost.
Maybe it was a messy elimination, and Melissa started like
because
kicking
Josh and Derek did the same elimination.
Yeah,
I believe.
and Sylvia got really mad because Melissa was just playing super dirty.
Yeah. But anyway, Sylvia wins first check, and then it goes Kellyanne, Veronica, which top three finish. Veronica's good and stuff. Melinda, Kayla. I was typing real fast because they were calling these out so quick. It says Kanye, but it's Kellyanne. John A, Roni, Naya, Kendall, and then it came down to Tina and Cynthia. And Cynthia was the one that ended up losing. Tina got it correct. And so that's when we find out that the top three men and the top three women get to form the authority. Which, what was it called the last time they did this?
Tribunal?
Maybe. That could be the last time. Well, that was three of them in Spies, Lies, and Allies. So it's similar concept, though. And the only thing that's a little different is we're not having those, like, table get-togethers where everyone pleads their case and, you know, all that stuff.
Also, about the authority, the first place people also get the sabotage power to mess with anybody else in the house.
Which that did happen in another season. They called it a grenade, though, and I don't remember what exactly.
Was that Total Madness?
It was before Total Madness. But it was like, hey, you could get a grenade and whatever. But I don't mind twists like this because it incentivizes you to win and not just not lose.
Yeah.
Right.
So we find out the winner gets a sabotage. They get to do it to someone at the next daily, but we don't know. I like that also because it makes you put a target on someone, and it makes you start like getting into like the political side of who you're going to target. Who do you think? Like, are you going to go after a big threat, or are you just going to go after random people who did bad or whatever? We get to the authority. I mean, sorry. Before that, I'd skipped ahead a little bit. The authority has to decide who goes against the losers, which are Cyrus and Cynthia. And so the next cut is to the jungle party that they have, the jungle costume party. Very clearly, everyone knew to bring something along those lines. Because otherwise, why would so many people...
Leopard print everything?
Yeah. Now,
Tyler came out as...
Well, I was going to say, yes came out in this, like, yellow, like, romper almost.
It was real floral.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool looking, though. Mm-hmm. And then Tyler.
You would have worn that.
Yeah, Tyler made his grand entrance.
He came out, like, as a jungle Cleopatra type.
With Mark and MJ, the two biggest guys.
Escorted by a shirtless Mark and MJ, and they looked like they were oiled up.
MJ also probably in the best shape of his life.
Yeah. After winning
Yeah.
last season, he realized he actually has a shot here. I think he's trying.
He's never been in bad shape because I follow him on social media and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think he's kind of like, I mean, like, oh, I just won a share of $500,000 and I can come back again. Like,
Absolutely.
let's make sure we're good to go. So we get the whole all hail the queen thing with Tyler, and Tyler is just
fun.
Yeah, trying to be fun.
I think he realizes he's most likely going into elimination, and so he's trying to have as much fun while he's here as he can. And I mean, he said as much in a confessional. He's like, I'm trying to enjoy my time here. And he talked to Veronica about it. He at the jungle party, he and Veronica were talking, and he was trying to plead his case. He's like, well, who's gonna cut up with you at the house? Who's gonna make you have a good time while you're here? It's not just
it's about the
challenge.
only angle he can play at this point, right? Because obviously he got dismantled last season, and then he came in next to last during the first daily. And I do agree that like that's a good play on him, is like, who do you want to be around you, whatever. But there's not a lot. It looked like from what we saw, he only did that with Veronica, not the rest of the authority or whatever it is. So we do find out that during this party, Cynthia tells them she doesn't want to single anybody out. Like, she's not going to say, I want this person.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. I mean, it ultimately wouldn't matter anyway, because the authority get together and they start talking, and then interestingly, they bring up Jordyn right away.
MJ brings up Jordyn away.
They were like, that's somebody that we don't want to go against in a final. And Wes said he'll beat every one of us. But it's too early to make those type of moves.
Yeah. Well, Wes was like, I'm not saying that's the answer, but that would be the move to make.
It would be, and I thought that because Wes was coming in to like shake things up, he might do that. But he also realizes, which I wasn't thinking about as I was watching it, like, we are the first authority. We set the precedent for how this is going to go going forward until somebody breaks that protocol.
Yeah.
And so if we do a big move right away, it's a free-for-all. And Wes knows, like, he's going to have a target on him regardless, because people think he's sneaky and underhanded and all this stuff anyway.
Right.
And so they decided to go with who came in next to last, because that sets a precedent. And when anyone deviates from that, you can be like, hey, well, what's going on? Like, this is what we set up.
Yeah.
And
then whoever breaks that train, they are the ones that everybody's pointing at and saying,
Did you say breaks that train?
I don't know.
I think you did.
I don't know.
Going off the rails there, Ham.
So
Train.
At least I didn't get beat up last week.
Wes said
The Italian mob.
Yeah. Wes said that they want this to be a forgotten vote. And just be like, oh yeah, it's just next to last.
And I think Yes is very much on board with that.
Yeah, I mean, Yes was the one in the group that was like, no, I want the best people in the final, blah, blah. And then like MJ and Wes were like, get out of here.
Yeah.
I think he was telling the truth though.
I do too. And what's so wild, if you bring that up, just before the authority meeting, Jordyn is with Nia and Tyler talking, and Jordyn says that he thinks his name is definitely going to come up in the authority meeting. He was right. He was the first name named. And then he actually said to them that he wants to see Wes in the final.
Well, yes, but also Jordyn hubris has not always been the best for him, because, like, again, in that free agents, where you flipped the skulls when he's like, oh, I want to go in. He flipped all of them, and then he got beat.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. Like, he is phenomenal. But in his mind, he's like, oh, yeah, I'll beat anyone.
Like Dylan Brooks.
Well, I don't want to get on that subject right now.
Just
But yes.
mentality, he thinks he's going to win no matter what.
I will say that Jordan's better at his profession right now overall than because he's
I
one of the best of all
agree.
time.
I agree. I'm strictly talking mentality.
Yeah.
They both think no matter what, they're winning.
Yes.
They can't lose.
They're not afraid of the moment. They want to go in. They want to be in the spotlight. They want to take out the best people. And
I think yes. Also, I think
a completely different way.
In a different way. Yes is not thinking, oh, I'm going to beat you no matter what. He's like, I want to go against the best of the best.
Think Yes's thing is it's like, oh yeah, I want to prove that I can beat the best of the best, and it will push me to be better.
Yeah.
And Jordan's just like, I want to make Wes feel bad.
But one thing we didn't talk about at the top was this seems to be a different Jordan. This
does
season.
seem more.
He seems more laid back, a little chill.
Day one, so he does seem a little bit more reserved. I think, like we said in the fantasy draft, I think Naya's different than what we saw years ago. Like,
I think she could still be a good competitor.
Yes, but I don't think we're gonna see a big blow up
hurricane.
Which is what they called her back, Hurricane Naya. As again, we kind of saw that with Tina last year, where she got into that headspace she hasn't been in a long time, and it ultimately made her quit.
It's crazy. The concept of aging makes you mature.
Yeah.
For some people.
So Tyler and Tina are the picks because they were both next to last. They almost lost.
And Veronica didn't do a single thing to save Tina from elimination.
It doesn't surprise me.
I understand, but they even asked her point blank directly about Tina, and she didn't even say a word. But then in her confessional, she says that Tina is her closest ally.
True. Veronica's strongest point in all of the challenges has always been the like political side, and she looks for openings to like make moves. This is again day one. Tina did come in next to last, and as much as you're friends with her, you don't want to make a big fuss to be like, oh no, we can't throw this person in because like again, she thought she was going to beat Cynthia regardless of whatever was happening just because it's been so long. But I don't necessarily blame Veronica for not going out of the way for that. Because I think she just thought she could go to Tina and be like, listen, you were next to last. It's what they wanted. I would have been outvoted anyway. But she didn't put up any sort of resistance.
No, none.
So we get to the arena, and it's Crawl Brawl, which I like that they're trying to make it a theme with, Hall Brawl and whatever. But this elimination was not physical, really. Like, you pass each other in a tunnel once each time.
When that title first came up, I was like, oh, man. Like, because you think Hall Brawl, it's just a different variation. It just was not.
No.
I think it would have been different if they didn't have the sand in the middle. Just have them crawl.
That just seemed
and
pointless to me.
It did because it doesn't... It's not like if it would be different if you had two tunnels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to clear out your specific tunnel. Mm-hmm. But when you're meeting in the middle, you're just clearing out for each other.
Because if that's the case, like, I'm just going
save
to
your energy.
I'm going to let you clear
Yeah,
it
that's
out,
the thing. Like, wait, and on that first pass through, just kind of do stuff, but let the other person do it. Because once there's a hole, you can go through too. And that was the other thing I told Hannah is, like, because it's a great, like, system, obviously you're not enclosed. I was like, just push all that sand out the side. Like, when you're scooping it, like, don't just pull it back. But anyway, we the girls go first. Tina versus Cynthia, and again, basically, you're in these like boxes. It's like you were how in movies and like video games, like that would show people crawling in like the air vents. It's very similar to like that. As far as like the amount of clearance you have, you just go in and then up, and then you come together in the middle, and then there's a bunch of sand you got to clear out, and then you just gotta pass each other, and you're dragging a sandbag, and you just gotta then come back through the maze, pick up another sandbag, and do that 3 times, and then once you get all 3 to the other side, then you gotta hook them together and drag them to the bell, and honestly, these were very passive meetings compared to like hall brawl, like or the Oppenheimer.
But what's
or
the
whatever
point? Like, what's the point of just like?
I guess they thought maybe people would get physical and like try to hold each other back, but then like you can't advance. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And so it's not like you have leverage like when you're standing up in hall brawl to like maneuver around or like jump over. Like you're just
Or go low.
You're stuck. Like if you're not getting through, they're not getting through.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't make sense to fight.
Maybe if the cage, is that what you would call it? Maybe if it were larger.
Tunnel.
Yeah. Maybe if it were larger where you could fit both people at the same time, then they would have kind of fought each other to get through.
I think you can fit them through at the same time, depending on the area, because they would pass each other. But
with the sand in the middle, it made it impossible, and it was just it slowed down the elimination for no reason.
I'm not going to say it's a bad elimination. I think that you could tweak it to be better. Mm-hmm. I don't mind the idea of it, just because it's different. It's something, but I think we learned with a lot of these all-star stuff is there's no reason to like reinvent the wheel, like especially when you're like, oh, these are the best of the best. Do the best of the best eliminations.
Absolutely.
As well. So
Tina wins by a landslide.
Yeah, she killed. Like Cynthia wasn't even halfway back to get her last bag.
Yeah.
Whenever Tina was done, and so shout out to Tina.
She's trying to redeem herself from quitting.
Yeah.
Last season.
And so she won pretty easily. And so the guys go. It was closer, to Tyler's credit. He was, on his way back. He was much closer than Cynthia was, but I mean Cyrus is just in better shape. You could hear Tyler when he was like going. He was like, like he was making a lot of like winded noises, and I mean Cyrus. This is for sure the best shape he's ever been in, and he's 50.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I think he said, this could be my last time. I want to make sure that I'm, going at it, and I mean he just won. He's outright won, and so it sucks that. I don't know enough about Cynthia to say it sucks that she's not going to be around. She seemed nice. She seemed like she was a little out of her element as far as because she'd been so far removed. Roni is another one that was like, nobody's even talking to me about strategy. And so, it's hard to come back in. Cyrus has been in more recently, and so he's kind of a little bit, in here. But, I still think Tyler's a great person, and he
may not be cut out for it anymore.
Yeah, I feel like
or take the time and get ready for it.
I mean, he's in a committed relationship and he's a school teacher up in like North Dakota. Like, I feel like his time might be done, and it sucks because I was so excited to see him last season.
I was too,
and I still think he's again very memorable for one episode, what he did. But I don't know if we'll see him again.
That hurts me. I'm such a Tyler fan.
So we do find out that the winners of the eliminations get like a star on their jersey for everyone they like take out.
S on their chest.
No,
like it's like everybody has a star already. It's their star, and then when you win an elimination, you take the loser's star.
Yeah, which I don't know what that's going to mean going forward. Like, I don't know if they're like, hey, you have to have 2 stars to get into the final or 3,
Well, TJ didn't elaborate. He just said more stars equal more power in this game, but we'll get to that later.
Exactly. And I don't know what that would mean. I don't know if maybe that's like, hey, you went into elimination 5 times and you're still here. You get a 5-minute head start in the final.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know what it's going to mean. The only thing I'm a little worried about is they are very heavily throwing in twists and turns in episode 1. Because you already have the sabotage for the winners, and then you have now this, whatever this is going to be, plus...
Authority?
Well, no. Plus we saw in the preview for the season, they're like, we're bringing in some reinforcements or something.
Yep.
And so you're already like, wow, that's going to be a big change going forward. Anyway, I mean, unless you guys got any final thoughts on this episode, again, we will, even though there's 2 episodes out currently, we're going to do episode 2 in a couple days and then get back on track before episode 3 drops. But I still think it's a great start to a season.
Yeah.
Definitely the best cast of any of the All-Stars seasons so far.
Well, they're the best of the best.
I wouldn't say that because you are missing some pretty notable people. I mean, just off the bat, bananas. It's one more than anybody else.
Some of the best of the best.
Again, if you had him in here instead of Tyler, that dynamic of those guys
changes everything.
That guy's side is so insanely stacked.
Yeah.
Let's get into superlatives for this episode. Who smashed some heads?
You are going backwards again.
It doesn't. Who got their head smashed?
Who got their head smashed? Tina, when she found out she was voted into elimination. She was mad.
I can't go with Tina.
So I was watching this with my fiance.
Okay.
And to which she doesn't watch this
and
show.
Doesn't know any of these people.
Doesn't know any of these people. And so by the time we got to the elimination, I paused it and I was like, all right, been watching this for about 40 minutes at this point. Mm-hmm. Who do you not like on this show? And she,
Veronica.
I don't like Jimmy.
Yeah, that's funny because she's not centric to this episode at all.
No.
She hasn't done anything.
No, so I'm gonna give head smash, and Jimmy got her head smashed.
I could agree with that.
And you let Amanda form that opinion on her
I
own.
didn't say nothing. I didn't mention how we're not the biggest fans. I totally was like, hey, you've got a little bit of an idea.
She gives off a vibe, even it's just a confessional. So I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
So, who got their heads? I hate to do it.
No.
It's Tyler.
No.
He did.
No.
He did.
It's not fair. You can't kick him while he's down.
Because I think we probably won't see him again.
Then smash my head instead.
That's not how it works. I don't get to decide. So who smashed some heads?
Sylvia.
Okay.
She shocked everybody, not just the girls. She shocked the guys when she asked for the first check and got it right on the first check in half the time the other guys took.
I'm gonna give it to Wes purely for coming in hot.
All right.
Get go.
You been listening to that Andy Mineo song?
You love him.
I do not like Andy Mineo.
I'm gonna give it to Tina, just because she redeemed herself from last season when she just refused to go into participate in the elimination. I thought that might seal her fate from not coming back, if I'm being honest. Mm-hmm. But you know what? She's embraced it. She looks better than ever, and she, it wasn't close. It wasn't like she doubled her up, but she wasn't worried.
Yeah.
I am also going to give an honorary head smashed.
We've never done this before.
Well, this calls for it. An honorary head smashed to Wes.
You gave him the hit.
He smashed heads, but he also got his head smashed because he had deemed himself years ago my wingman.
Uh-huh.
And yet I found the love of my life, and I did it all without him ever carrying out the act of being my wingman. So head smashed.
To be fair, the last time we interviewed him, you guys talked about some things, and it caused a girl you were interested in to not date you,
right?
Because of what he
she
talked
canceled.
about.
You guys had gone on the first date.
Hold on,
and it was going well, and she canceled the second
we had
date
a second
because
date
of
plan.
it.
She canceled
by the transitive property. Him doing that
opened
led
up the door.
you down the road to where you are today.
All right. Well, then head smashed revoked.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get to the fantasy stuff, we'll do the recommendations now, or do you want to do them after the fantasy?
We'll do them now.
No, let's do them now.
Okay, well, you good?
Yeah, I thought I had a hair.
No,
you do.
You have hair.
Yeah,
He went to get a drink and then he just paused. But all right, so we are going to do video games for this season.
I'm drinking that Miami Cola Bang, by the way. Shout out to Grimm, Miami.
Welcome to Miami, as Will Smith said.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be the best video game of all time, in your opinion. It can just be one that, hey, this isn't great, but I love it.
Yeah.
And we did talk about beforehand, if you run out, you could do mobile games or whatever. And it doesn't have to be current gen stuff. Just whatever.
Anything.
You want to go first?
I mean, mine's going to be Madden 06.
It
doesn't have to be the best game ever.
No, I'm not saying that. What I was saying, when we decided to do this, I would have never guessed that Madden and then especially
Madden
one from
2006.
16 years ago was going to be your pick.
That was
Was that the one with where Marshawn Barber, you just couldn't tackle him, or was that 07? Marion Barber.
No, that was 08, 09.
I was thinking Marshawn Brooks.
well, I played that game so much that
Marshawn
again,
Brooks or Marshawn Lynch?
I was thinking, but the B, I was
Okay.
thinking Marshawn Brooks.
that game, I played it so much, and it opened the door to that type of music. I had never listened to any kind of music like that ever. None of it.
I never would have guessed.
And now you're listening to Annie Mineo.
No, absolutely not. I do still listen to Fall Out Boy a lot.
That's how you found out Fall Out Boy was from that game?
Yeah.
Wow.
Think how young I was. This was 2006.
Still, that's
Like
just weird.
6 years old.
No, I was 6 years old in 2001.
You're born in 95?
Yeah.
Oh, heck, can.
So
Told you I'm not 31 yet.
that's
Yeah, I mean that was one of the first video games. It's not the first video game, that'll be next week's, but one of the first games I actually really played.
that's weird because we've talked about this I've never heard you say, "Oh yeah, I used to play Madden 06 a lot."
Well, it's because my dad had it. My dad used to be a major
I know all
PlayStation
that.
gamer, and so he had these games. And a lot of times, like in the summer when I was home and he was at work, that was one of the only games I could play, and so I would just play it all day long, all summer long, for years.
She's running like Dynasty franchises
my
and stuff.
my parents didn't buy
What team
games.
did you play with?
A lot of times it was actually oh god, I don't remember.
I'm assuming it
I
wasn't the Titans.
No,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
06 Titans weren't very good.
Was that Billy Volick?
I don't even remember.
Anyway,
Was that pre Vince Young or was that Vince Young draft? 06.
That was pre-Vince Young.
my dad loved playing video games, but my parents almost never bought games.
Yeah.
So whatever games we had, we would play for several years. So I played that game for years because it was one of the only ones I had.
Weird.
Yeah.
What's yours?
So, my birthday's coming up, and I've thought about asking for this for my birthday. And
From us?
Nah, just,
To
Just
the
the
universe.
universe. Ask God.
So,
Santa.
a lot of people grew up with Super Mario,
Yeah.
but there was also his counterpart, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
I almost said
right.
Luigi.
So, that's his brother.
Yeah.
So, there was Nintendo and Sega, right? So, a lot of the classic Sonic games, they hold up as far as just, like, being fun.
They've all been remastered. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you get into the newer generation Sonic stuff, and it's pretty trash.
Very hit or miss from what I've seen.
I think when you got into the 3D era, I think the greatest Sonic game of all time was Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast.
I never
Sega
had a Dreamcast. I never had a Dreamcast.
It is so good. Just from it got into like the depths of like these characters. Like,
Was that the one that he had like a human girlfriend?
no, that was like one of the releases for the Xbox 360.
Yeah, and there
No.
was one where like Shadow had like guns, and he was like really dark, and they were like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, no, not that. Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure 2 is also really good, but Sonic Adventure on the Sega Dreamcast is, to me, one of the most fun games of all time.
I never had a Dreamcast, but Dreamcast did a lot of things. Like they were the first thing that you could buy like an adapter and like play online with.
Yeah.
And it was like 56K or whatever. But yeah, I never had that. I'm just gonna start this off with probably my favorite game of all time, which I know we didn't do that. I'm just gonna say Uncharted 4. It's just I don't replay games ever. I could replay Uncharted 4 almost any time because it's that good. It's perfectly written, great. Those are my favorite type of games, like third person action adventure games. All the new Tomb Raider games are really good, but Uncharted, that whole series nails kind of like it being humorous as well, and that is, I think, probably my favorite game of all time.
I got to go back and play all those games. I've been wanting to do that.
I did it within like the last 6 months or a year.
Like starting with 1 again.
I didn't do 1. I skipped 1 and I started with 2. I went 2, 3, 4. Actually, I think I went 4, 3, 2.
Oh, okay.
Because the first time I ever played them was in 2017 when I got PlayStation. Because I hadn't had one since a PS1, and so I played them in order 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 is not as good as the rest, but again, it's the first one. But 2, 3, and 4 are all great. The boss on 2 is one of the most frustrating bosses of all time.
When I play 2 and I get to the boss, I'll probably just skip it.
I lowered it to. I was like, I just want to get through this. I want to just get it on easy and get.
Because I beat it on hard.
Yeah, the first time I played it, I was like, why is this so freaking hard?
Yeah.
Because it's like everything jumps up by like 10 levels.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Uncharted 4 is incredible, and I hope they make more. They've talked about that they might. Even the Lost Legacy, which is like the auxiliary characters from 4, it's still good. So that's mine. I probably won't pick my top 5 going forward, but that's definitely mine. You like that?
I do.
Is it top 3?
It's
you?
up there.
Yeah.
It's up there.
What about you?
Uncharted 4?
Yeah.
I've never played.
Yeah. It's not in Madden 06. I'll give it that.
Okay.
Well, let's get into the fantasy stuff. It may take me a little while to like
find where everybody is.
find where everyone is, because I don't remember who all drafted who, but we'll go from here.
Well, it's time to pick up a new sponsor too.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I can't think of a better sponsor than the company I bought my fiance's engagement ring from.
Zales.
Olive Hill. Olive Hill, get your ring.
I don't know how I feel about this sponsor.
Is it get you a ring or get yo ring?
Because here's with all the other sponsors, they've all been stuff that you good. They've all been stuff that
Chick-fil-A was one of our first sponsors.
it's all been mostly food related.
Oh, okay. We want to go food.
But
Super Sucker was last season.
Super Soaker, but that seems more accessible than
Okay. We want to.
engagement rings.
We want to go more accessible.
Yeah.
How about
Wendy's, when you're here, your family.
You mixed 2 things together.
you know
I
what?
do love Wendy's.
I give a lot of crap to Jimmy John's.
I don't want.
I don't
will
like
not be
Jimmy
sponsored
John's.
by Jimmy John's.
Well, what I was gonna say,
I will
Kick them
not
out.
be sponsored
Kick them
by
out.
Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's.
No.
You can fix it at home.
No.
No.
Well, Jimmy John's, 1, overpriced and not very good. 2, their owner is
A trash bag.
Yeah, he's awful.
All right. Wow, this is difficult.
Lenny's.
They've closed down.
We got to go through our list of sponsors that want to sponsor us.
I do love a good sandwich.
Man.
What if we were sponsored by tennis?
Oh yeah,
Just the sport
How
in
about-
general.
Prince.
Yeah, I guess we all use Prince
Not
stuff.
not
Those
qui-
are the rackets that Jake and I used.
Used before you knew any better.
Prince, not quite a king.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So, all right. Okay, well, we're going to get right into it. We're going to give 15 to Wes right off the bat because they seem to use only his voiceover in the opening.
Did they? I don't even
It
remember.
seemed
I
like
didn't
it,
catch
yeah.
that.
I thought it was a weird Tina and Veronica intro. -5 to both of them. That's Tina
Yeah, I got it.
and Veronica. That door is big enough for Tina's ego. 5 points. But she gets stuck out by the pool. -5. Tina and Veronica are happy that each other are there. 5 and 5.
So far, Wes has 15, and Veronica and Tina both are at 0, even after all that.
Mark, a quote from Mark here. It's time to punch some people in the face. 10 points.
We condone violence
We
here.
do.
Well, he said not physically, but
Well, he is wearing black on black. 10 points. He's also feeling powerful. 10 points. But he has tags on the bottom of his shoes. -10. 1 for each.
Yeah.
5 for each.
Roni met Kobe. 25. I'm giving her 25 for that one.
Roni,
Roni,
not
not
Cynthia.
My bad. I went to the wrong list.
Roni met Kobe. 25 points. Kayla can't help but bring the drama. 5 points. but she didn't see the pool, -5. We got best friends, Nehemiah, Melinda, and Wes, 10 points, all coming in together. That's Wes.
Yeah, I
Nehemiah,
I know who it is.
Melinda.
It's the Austin crew. Where's Melinda? Oh, I got her.
Wes wants to ruin the fun. I'm gonna give him -5 because everybody likes to have fun. We got a whole montage of not nice things being said about Wes, -10. We're gonna give
And some of the people weren't even on this season.
we're gonna give -15 to Tyler for the punishment he endured last season.
That's literal insult to injury.
Yeah.
We're gonna give 25 to MJ, John A, and yes, it's the return of the champs.
Yeah, MJ.
John A's directly behind MJ.
And yes.
We've got the hot sluts, Tyler,
Yeah,
Kelly, and
I had a note about that and I forgot.
that's 20 points. We're gonna give 20 points to Tyler, Kellyanne, and Kendall.
I thought that was funny.
The hot sluts.
I don't know if Kendall agreed to be in that group because she wasn't around to voice her opinion one way or the other.
Yeah, well, they talk about butt stuff. That's an additional 10.
Yeah, they did.
We all like
For
butt
all
stuff.
three?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Kendall wasn't there for the butt stuff talk.
But according to Tyler, that's what they talk about.
Okay.
Is butt stuff.
All right.
They
And I don't know if that was meant in a sexual way or literally they're like, oh, we're doing enemas and we're doing coffee enemas and chocolate enemas. I didn't know you could do chocolate ones.
Well, they talk about butt stuff, so
Yeah.
10 points. This
Maybe
is
that
also
is the butt stuff.
This is also Kellyanne and Tyler's first meeting. That's another 10 points. Points are coming in hot and heavy.
And
at
I
the
have
start.
both of those.
I liked Nehemiah's line in reference to Cynthia having a boyfriend. He said, she got a boyfriend, but she ain't got no man, though. 10 points.
Yeah, Hannah was like, she's so much older than him. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's not that huge of a... It's probably 7 years.
I'm going to give Cyrus 15 for being a fellow engagee, like myself. So, a reason to celebrate. Another 10 points to Cyrus for the, quote, respect your elders. We get a weird Jordyn turn here. Don't know how to feel about it, but -5.
Or is he at negative?
Well, then you do know how you feel about it. You give him -5.
I'm unsure. That's how I feel about it. But it's for the better, it seems like. 5 points. Nehemiah can't get his leggings on. -5. We got Treadmill Wes. 5 points. He wants to make everyone squirm. 5 points. Sylvia got the nervous poops.
Oh, yeah.
-20, because I've had those, and they're miserable. Latarian tried to make a
By the way, she did look at that daily when everyone was like excited. She was like, "Oh God!"
Yeah,
she did the best.
She looked really upset.
Latarian tried to make a joke about memorizing stuff.
It was
and
very forced.
Yeah, -10. Tina thinks this is cute. 5 points. Tyler loves all the men around him. 10 points. Cyrus tips well. 5 points. We like a good tipper.
We do.
Wes wins. He gets 50 points. He also gets 25 for being safe. We'll get to the second and third place stuff I'm going in order of the show here. All right. Yes is most happy with second place. 5 points. Nehemiah did some wild dance that cut to it real quick.
I didn't see it.
We'll give him 10 points for it.
I saw it for just a split second.
Derek praises our Lord and Savior. 15 points.
I don't remember him doing anything in this
He did.
episode.
Cyrus loses. -25. Straight into elimination. -25.
So, just for clarity's sake, you lose 50 points.
We'll do
just for-
-15 for going straight in.
Still, you lose 40.
Yeah.
For just losing.
It's
the
a bad
daily?
look. Yeah. It's bad.
Whew. That's
you
a
can-
lot.
Yeah. Well, here we go. According to Kayla, she has better eyes than everyone. 10 points.
And I told Hannah, I was like, she's probably the youngest, female on the show.
I think so.
Yeah. Down.
She's probably 29.
Number one pick.
How many?
10 points. Sylvia wins. That's 50. She's also safe. That's 70 or 25.
Jesus, calm down.
Yeah.
That's 75 for being safe.
We're going to give her an additional 15 for getting it right on the first check.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cynthia loses. -25. Straight into elimination. -15. We're going to give 25 to Yes and Kellyanne for getting second place. 15 to MJ and Veronica for getting third, and an additional 25 to those four for being safe.
Oh, good God, why didn't you tell me that to begin with?
All right, I tell you what.
That's a lot
Let's
of points.
give 15. All right, so since we're doing negative 15 for going straight into elimination, let's give 15. So you'll have to go back to Wes
Oh,
and
my God.
whoever won, Sylvia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wes and Sylvia get 15. And then Yes and Kellyanne, MJ and Veronica all get an additional 15 too for being safe.
Veronica. I don't know how many.
What's that?
I think Veronica's fine. MJ is the other one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
Did you give it to Yes and Kellyanne, like the additional 15?
there's the 15.
And Kellyanne?
There's the 15 for her, and then
Okay.
Veronica's got 2 15s, and then MJ's got 2 15s.
Perfect. All right, so you're going to give an additional 15 to Wes
Oh my God.
and Sylvia for having sabotage power.
Yeah.
All right, you got all that?
Yes.
Okay.
You got to remember all this though. You're gonna have to make notes because you've changed your amounts.
I got it. All right. Okay. So we don't want to go overboard and give all these people additional points for being the authority.
No.
No.
Because you
I
already
got
have
No.
loaded.
I
them.
got you.
Because they've already got 15 points for being
I got
safe.
you. All right. 10 points to Wes because he loves saying names. Tundra's back. 10 points to Tyler.
Yeah.
Sylvia was talking about being on cloud 9, but that her cloud is coming down. -5. -25 to Tina and Tyler. They get voted in. We keep it FTK around here. Tina with the quote, "I'm going to come back and F some stuff up."
Okay.
15 points. Tyler's feelings are hurt. -10.
My feelings were hurt.
Was Cyrus wearing the gun straps? Like he,
Yes.
It wasn't. It was made to look like how Nathan Drake would wear them.
Yeah, right.
But they were like bags. They were like you know how like a lot of people have those cross shoulder bags that are kind of fashionable right now, or like fanny packs even. It was. I was looking at that. It wasn't holsters. It was like 2 zipper bags,
Okay.
which
Well,
I've never seen before.
sometimes you have things to carry
Yeah.
around,
All right. Well,
like loose rocks and sand.
I thought it was gun holsters, so never
No,
mind.
it wasn't for sure. Because I looked at that.
I will give Jimmy 10 points for the quote, "This arena smells like broken dreams." So, how you came to that?
I'm sorry, I'm coughing some still. I have residual drainage from COVID.
-5 to Cynthia because wine will fall out of her if you cut her.
Yeah, yeah.
Tina wins, 75 points. Cynthia loses, -50. We're also going to give an additional -20 to her for being the first to go home.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Is Tina premenopausal? -5. Cyrus wins, 75. -50 to Tyler because he loses, -20 because he is the first to go home. MJ feels like poop, -10. Tina feels incredible, 10 points. They got stars on their shirt.
Yeah.
We're going to give 15 points to Cyrus and Tina for having stars on their
Okay,
shirt.
so I want you to realize that every time someone wins, you're giving them 75 and then another 15.
That's right. That's 90 points. Those stars, you gotta give points for power. Right?
Cyrus, go down.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was aware.
Yeah. So that is actually it for your fantasy points for the week. Again, this is brought to you by Prince. Not quite a king. Prince. We'll take a quick break. And we're back. One last time, a quick shout out to our sponsor, Prince.
Not quite a king.
Prince.
Not the singer, if you're not familiar.
Right.
So, strange first week scoring.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we all had a player not have any scoring.
Right.
Yeah.
And all top 4 picks.
Yeah.
So, like, Hannah had Naya, who got nothing. I had Brad, who got nothing. And Jake had Darrell, who got nothing. Which, again, we talked about when we did the fantasy
talked about
draft.
With Darrell, that
Brad and
doesn't surprise
well,
me.
Brad and Darrell, they both were the same way. we're like they're huge threats to win, but then they don't do anything. Fantasy wise related. So I'll go through Hannah's team. Jordyn ended up with 0 total. Nia just didn't score at all. Latarian had -10. MJ got 45. John A got 25. Kendall got 30. Roni got 25, and Jimmy got 10. So you ended up with 125 for the week.
Hey, that's more than you ended with last season.
Hey.
It might be. It's close. So Wes got me 110.
Oh, my God, Han.
Mark got me 20. Brad, nothing. Derek, 15. Veronica, 30. Kellyanne, 80.
Hey.
Yeah. And then Melinda, 10. And then Tyler got me -60. So I'm still at 205.
God.
So still ahead of Hannah there. Jake, Kayla got you 10. Yes got you 70. Cyrus, even though he got 90 for winning, only got 80 total.
Okay.
Darrell, 0. Tina got you 90. Nehemiah got you 25. And Cynthia had only negative points. Mm-hmm. She ended up with -115.
Wow.
That's bad.
Yeah. And then Sylvia got you 70. So you ended up with 230 for the week.
Whoa!
But you had both elimination winners, and
Yeah,
you're
well-
only 25 ahead of me.
Right.
I had one of the elimination losers. You had the other one. Those were the two biggest ones by far. Like as far as -60 for Tyler and -115 for Cynthia. Yeah. High scores of the week: Wes at 110.
Yep.
Tina at I believe it's Tina. 90? Yeah, at 90. And then third place was a tie between Kellyanne and Cyrus. And Cyrus, that's the crazy thing. Kellyanne just kind of came out of nowhere.
Y'all didn't like Cyrus pick at number 3, but
I didn't say that.
How about that?
But let's go. It's week 1. He's 50.
Yeah.
He went against the worst person in the guys group.
yeah.
So he also was the last play in the daily. So
Well, Han, this is on par for how you ended last season too.
yeah, her top 3 picks, Jordyn, Nia, and Latarian got her -10.
Latarian made a bad joke.
He did. And he got negative points
Oh
for
my
it.
God.
He's like, my memory's not good. I can't even remember what I was going to say.
We don't like forced jokes here.
Yeah. So we will be doing episode 2 very soon. We just wanted to go ahead and get this one out because we weren't aware at the time that there was going to be multiple episodes on the premiere because we've been trying to avoid any sort of spoilers and that type of stuff. Didn't say it at the top show. Patreon.com/SmashingHeads is where we had the fantasy draft, and it wasn't just that. It was also our Redemption House pod, which is where we answer questions and just have off-topic stuff. And then at Smashing Heads on Twitter. I would like to get to 1,000 followers by the time this next season comes around. We're at like 851 or something like that.
Ooh, that's a reach.
Can we
Zach.
do it?
It is a reach. Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who we always get new followers every time we say it. So at Smashing Heads on Twitter, and then at Smashing Heads Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and then if you want to buy merch, it's smashingheadspodcast.com/store. And we are very much looking forward to the rest of this All-Star season.
Have a good night, everyone.